In this video, we are on to section 7.2, looking at multiplying polynomials. Okay, we have two learning targets for this video. The first is, by the end of the video, you will be able to use what we call the FOIL method for multiplying binomials together. And the second learning target, you will be able to multiply binomials and trinomials together. Okay, let's take a look at our core concept. So we're going to use what we call the FOIL method for multiplying two binomials together. And the FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. So go ahead and pause the video and copy down this example here so you have this in your notes. And it's showing you, we can see that when we multiply the first terms in a binomial together, we end up with this product. When we multiply the outside together, here's the product. The inside terms together, here's the product. And the last terms together, we get a product. Then we're going to sum the products together, collect like terms, and then this is the product of our two binomials multiplied together. Okay, so let's look at an example where we are using FOIL. When we use FOIL, this is another great opportunity for you to use some color coding in your notes or some symbols. So the first terms multiplied together, I'm just going to write them out and I'm going to color code. So this is going to be the first term in each of the binomials. So I'm multiplying x times x, and when I do that, I get x squared. The outer terms are going to be the outside. So I'm going to multiply x times 2, and when I do that, I get 2x. The inner terms, 8 times x is equal to 8x. And then last, 8 times 2, which is 16. Finally, I'm going to sum all of the products together. So I have x squared plus 2x plus 8x plus 16. And I'm going to collect my like terms, and I end up with x squared plus 10x plus 16. Okay, so I'm looking at another example where I'm using FOIL. So here I have x minus 5, the first binomial multiplied to x plus 1. So again, I'm just going to write out my FOIL steps. So I'm going to actually use the letters. So this is going to be x times x. So I get x squared. My outer terms, x and a 1. So x times 1 is just x. Inner terms, so I have to make sure I take the sign with the number here. This is a negative 5 times x. So I get a negative 5x. And the last terms, negative 5 times positive 1 is a negative 5. Next, I'm going to sum the products together. So x squared plus x plus a negative 5x minus 5. Collect like terms. X squared minus 4x minus 5. Okay, in my last example, I am multiplying a binomial, or a polynomial that has two terms, to a trinomial. So that's the polynomial that has 3 terms. I'm not using the FOIL approach here because that's exclusively for multiplying a binomial to another binomial, but I'm going to use the same idea that's behind the FOIL process, and that's the distributive property. So I'm just going to distribute each of the terms in my first binomial here to each of the terms in my trinomial. So let's start. I'm going to distribute x to the x squared, to the first term here. So I'm going to write out each step. So this is x times x squared. And then I'm adding x times negative 4x. So I'm adding x times negative 4x. And then I'm adding x times negative 4. Next, I'm going to distribute the negative 3, make sure to take the sign, negative 3 to each of the terms in the trinomial here. So negative 3 times x squared. I'm adding negative 3 times negative 4x. And I'm adding negative 3 times negative 4. So when I multiply x times x squared, I get x cubed. X times negative 4x is negative 4x squared. And then x times negative 4 is negative 4x. I have negative 3 times x squared, so that's going to be negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 4x is a positive 12x. And then negative 3 times negative 4 is a positive 12. Last step, I'm going to collect like terms. There's no other cubed terms except for this x cubed, so I have x cubed by itself. Here's a squared x, and I also have a squared x here. So when I combine negative 4x squared and negative 3x squared, this is a negative 7x squared. I have a negative 4x, and I also have an x to the first power here. So negative 4x plus 12x is a positive 8x. And lastly, I have this constant term here, no other constant term, so I'm just going to add on the 12. So this is the product of a binomial and a trinomial together.